economy is uncertain. Fear, doubt, anxiety, they all seem to settle in. But all this worrying may be making the problem worse. Here to help you make clear decisions in these tough times is the author of syndicated newspaper column, Smart Ways to Work. Please welcome back Odette Pollar.
Good to see you again. Welcome back.
You know, how do you not worry when times are tough? It's almost like a habit, or it's like natural.
The only problem with worry is it's not the same thing as a concrete action. And worry is circular. You worry and then feel bad and worry and feel bad, but it doesn't move you off the spot. That's the problem with it.
It's kind of a waste then.
So
it doesn't help you.
People always say that, worrying doesn't do any good, but it's, you can tell yourself that, but it's still hard to stop worrying.
Then I'll let you worry, so long as you also take concrete steps to do something about it. So you're worried about a best case or a worst case scenario. We'll take steps and put something into place so that if that worst case were to happen, which it usually doesn't, you have a plan.
But is worrying bad? Is it okay to just worry a little bit?
A little bit is the key, yes.
Okay.
I care about it when it immobilizes you.
Yeah. So other than running around in circles and not being decisive when we're in that worry mode, what else happens to us when we're in worry mode?
It sometimes makes clear thinking more difficult because we are emotionally fraught. So everything, she said using an extreme word, is extreme.
Yeah.
It's all this or all that, and we don't see the gray area, which is probably what's going to happen. And so it makes our thinking unclear and muddied.
Throws off our judgment.
Exactly.
Right.
You were saying before, worst case scenario, best case scenario. We should look at both. And how do we do that? What do you mean by that? Give us an example.
If you have whatever the best case scenario is, if everything that you're worried about doesn't happen and everything's going well, what would that look like, right?
Okay.
And then what would the worst case look like? And then put something into place. For example, we live in earthquake land.
Right.
Yeah.
Worst case is we're going to fall into the ocean. So you can worry about that, right?
Yeah.
Or you can have disaster preparedness. You can talk to your family about if there's a disaster, where do you go so that I can find you? You can make sure that you have water stored.
Right.
You have all of that. You know what you're going to pack if it's a fire and put in your car and take away. And then let it go. It's either going to fall into the bay or it's not.
Right,
You've
so
done everything that you can.
Take all that time and energy that would have gone into worrying and put it into decisive action.
Exactly. And
It's almost like people who are negative and they complain a lot. I'm like, why are you wasting your energy on that and when you should turn it into something positive?
Exactly.
I mean, it takes just as much effort to be positive as it does to be negative. So I kind of see it as the same thing.
And even if you do put in a worst case scenario plan and it doesn't happen, is it bad to have the earthquake supplies? No.
Yeah.
Have you wasted your time? No.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Okay, now you have some tips, advice for people.
These are great tips.
Yeah, making tough life decisions. And the first one is, don't waste your time looking for perfection or all the possible data before deciding something. So
absolutely, because there's always another website. There's always more research you could do. Gather the bulk of the information that you need and move forward. Because all decisions are not life and death.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Make a decision and move forward. Life is moving along and time keeps clicking. And not making a decision, by the way, is a decision. And it has its consequences.
Well, you said something really important there. You said what was it? All decisions are not life and death.
Exactly.
That leads to one of your other tips, which is don't waste time agonizing over minor decisions. Some people seem, I've been guilty of it too. Sometimes you feel incapable of determining what's minor and what's major.
Yeah. Minor decisions are minor with or without the worry. And even if it's a large decision, you're going to buy a car. Do you buy a Datsun, do you buy a Toyota, or do you buy a Nissan? And the longer you wait, then the next Consumer Reports will be out. They've been the top 3 for the last 10 years. It doesn't matter. Truthfully, whichever one you choose will be fine, right?
Yeah.
The decision isn't between the number 1 car and the number 15 car.
Right.
They're, right?
Okay, this is a good little tip. If the same situation activity occurs more than 3 times a year, you need a procedure, not another decision.
Yes. Here's a perfect example for women and men who have children, particularly. You have volunteer activities that you're asked for all of the time. There's a walkathon and marathon and a fundraiser and back to school night and all of these things. Create a little chart so that you can decide which volunteer activity. How much time is it going to take? Who's going to be involved? Am I comfortable with those people? How much energy? If it requires forms, do the forms exist or not? How much email? How many meetings? And then just a little checklist. And so you can ask some intelligent questions before you overextend.
Okay.
So if it happens a lot, you probably need a procedure, not a new decision.
Okay, so if you overextend more than 3 times a year, what are you saying? Like over 3 times a year, you need a...
Now, if the same request for your time to volunteer happens often enough, you probably need a procedure for making that decision more easily.
Yeah. Okay, I see.
Sorry, I wasn't clear.
No,
Yeah,
you were
that's a great
absolutely,
point.
yeah, that
We
is
just want to be sure we're understanding.
Yeah, right.
And we should make our decisions in a timely fashion. That's always been a problem for me. Sometimes I'm like Hamlet, you know. I take a week to make a decision that should be made in one day.
Exactly. There's an opportunity cost.
Yeah.
It's probably not that major a decision. You know, you don't decide whether to get married or divorced or move across country overnight, obviously. But most of our decisions are more minor. Move forward and live with the consequences. They won't be that bad. It's better to have made the decision than to not.
And you say that rarely does the waiting make the decision better or improve the decision. It doesn't change it.
Rarely.
You come to the same conclusion.
So
anyway.
why wait until your back is up against the wall and you're about to be shot? Right. Do that sooner before there's all that anxiety and buildup.
What happened in your life that allowed you to gain all this wisdom about decision making? When did you decide? When did you decide that you knew how to make decisions?
Well, some people are more decisive, and I think it's by training. Sometimes it's by inclination.
Yeah.
But frustration makes me crazy. I don't like being frustrated, and not knowing which way to go makes me frustrated.
Yes.
I'm avoiding that emotion.
Yeah.
So for me, making a decision is running from that emotion that I don't like. And I try not to be ridiculous about it. And if I'm really not sure, I talk to other people. But when you talk to other people, be sure that you're not talking to complain. You're asking questions. Have you ever done this? Do you know anybody who has? What's this outcome? Okay. Those are moving forward kinds of conversations, not just, I'm worried.
Yeah.
Okay? You're like the little angel who sits on my shoulder. I want you there. Make a decision. Make a decision. Move on. Come on. Move forward, Janelle. That's what I need.
That's me, right? You'll hear my voice.
Yeah, I
decide.
Figure it out, Janelle.
Figure it out.
Odette Pollar. Yeah.
Sorry.
Odette Pollar, you are the best. Thank you so much for coming. Please stop by again.
Absolutely.